how can I help?
I guess what I've been noticing recently is I feel like I'm having difficulty balancing my work life and my personal life, especially as far as my friendships go. I've been spending so much time working that I feel like I haven't been able to give as much time to my friends, and so like I feel like those are sort of starting to deteriorate a certain amount. And then because I've been spending so much time at work, like I feel like my motivation for that is starting to fall a little bit too, and so I feel like I'm not getting what I want to out of either necessarily. So I really feel like the balance between the two is something that I'd like to work on.
Yeah, work is important to you, and you put a lot of effort into it. But your friends are equally important, and right now you're feeling the drain of the workload that you have.
I'm definitely feeling the drain of it. Like there's just so much work, and like I used to rely on my friends for that sort of escape from that sort of stuff, but I feel like there's always something else I could be doing work wise, and then sometimes I start to think like, well, maybe I should be spending more time on this.
What are the downsides of working so much in terms of your friends?
In terms of my friends, I just don't have as much time to see them. Like I've noticed there's some times where I'll see like they're off doing certain things, and I might not have necessarily even got invited to do it just because they've started to assume like he won't be able to do that, which is true. I wouldn't be able to do it anyway, but like it's still kind of
They know you work a
yeah,
lot.
it still sort of hits you like like it would have been nice to ask, but I totally understand why. Why would you ask when you know the answer
Right.
already,
Uh-huh.
sort of thing.
And
So,
if you were to balance this equally, what's the difference in your friendships and your relationships with them?
um, I just feel like I feel more included or closer to them. Like I feel like there's sometimes I using social media and stuff like that. Like I see things about their lives that I've not necessarily heard from them directly, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was going on. Where in the past I did know that was happening, and so I missed that. I mean, my friends have always been really important to me, and so I feel like I wish that I was still like as close to them sometimes
Yeah.
as I used to be. But I'm wondering, I just don't know if that's possible now, or if that's not even part of the work thing. That's just part of growing older in general,
Yeah.
or what.
Well, you're a dedicated worker, and you work hard at your job. Sometimes that pulls you away from your friends, and you want to be included because these people are very important to you, and you feel like you miss things when you're not around them. And so you're seeking really this kind of balance between work and friendship relationships so you can gather back what you feel like you've lost. What are some things that you have in you, strength-wise, that you think you can apply to this issue and help to work it out?
I think I'm a pretty good planner, I guess. Like I'm pretty
Okay.
good at budgeting my time for certain things. I think that will definitely help. I think I'm thoughtful to a certain extent. So even if I don't have as much time for my friends necessarily, I can still like carve out, even if it's a little bit of time, but really make that time count. Which I think is something that I could probably use to my advantage. For work stuff, I feel like I do well most of the time. So I'm wondering if I don't need to do as like sometimes I put sort of this extra sort of pressure on myself to do so well that maybe like it's okay if I don't do as well all the time. Like they're like whatever I'm gonna do is still gonna be good enough. So like I don't know. I get into this thought sometimes where like maybe I don't need to apply so much energy to this. And then I'd have more left over for like personal life stuff.
I mean, you're a planner.
Yes.
Shows up in your work, could show up in your friendship relationships. You're thoughtful, and you think that you might be able to carve out special, unique opportunities to gather together with your friends. And you're starting to realize you put in 110% at work, and maybe 100% is all that's necessary to allow some time for other things.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, what's the worst thing that might happen if this balance doesn't occur? And then on the other side of that, what's the best thing that would happen if you really are able to find this balance?
Well, I guess worst thing could go either one of two ways. So like the one way would be it falls completely on the work side, and then I don't really have much going on outside of that,
Okay.
which I don't think would be good. And then the other side of that would be I don't put as much emphasis on work, and then that sort of doesn't go as well as it should. And I feel like almost from like a pride standpoint, like that would start to affect me negatively, where I'd be like, I should be doing better than this. And like I have people that I work with, I think are also important that I don't want to, I have a responsibility to them that I don't want to let them down. So I feel like I start to think about that. But if it went really well, then like I feel like I could do well at work, but still have enough time left over where I just know like there's gonna be time for my friends, and they'll sort of have an idea of when I'd be able to do stuff too. And so that way, like, I wouldn't feel like they're always wondering, like, is he still a part of our group? Does he still want to see us? Like, that sort of stuff. So I'd like, hopefully, that they'd understand that, like, I'm doing the best that I can, I think.
I mean, your ultimate thought here is that to be able to put 100% into both relationships, your work relationship and your friendship relationship.
Ideally, yes. When you said like that, it seems like, well, maybe that's not necessarily going to be possible. It might be more of a balancing act, like where sometimes this one gets the majority and this one, like just maybe alternating or something like that.
Sounds like the thoughtful part of you coming out right there and starting to negotiate that.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, when I feel like putting it that way, like trying to do 100% across the board, like that seems logically to me like something that's probably not going to be possible, or that it's more likely that that's not going to work, as opposed to being a little more, or having a little more forethought as far as like, this is maybe something important around work's coming up, so I need to put more time into that now, but when there's sort of a lull at work, then like I can sort of switch the emphasis to friends.
So I mean, your work is really important to you. Your friends are super important to you. You're feeling a little bit of a drag down on your friendship relations because of the workload that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a planner. You're a thoughtful person and kind of can negotiate these two things so that maybe there's not 100% effort in both places at both times. And you're really concerned and willing to put in some effort to this. How important is this? I mean, if we were to scale this out like on a 1 to 10 in terms of your life right now, 1 not very important and 10 is really important. How important is this to you right now?
I'd say probably like a 6.
Like a 6?
Like a 6 or so, yeah.
Why not a 4? Why did you not say like a 4 or a 3? Why is it a 6?
Well, I feel like these are the two of the more important areas of my life.